Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Inside Now. This is our top 100 wrestlers. Jack Lord, Rodney West, and I'm Rodney West as well on this program
Yes.
as well.
Yes, you are, and we cannot let that stand.
I'm afraid for him to touch anything else because he goes away every time he does.
Let's see if I can change it without any issues here. Let's see if I can change it.
But we are going to talk top 100 wrestlers. We're at number 93. Number 93 on my side, Tojo Yamamoto. Tremendous wrestler. Now, a lot of people are going to ask, who is Tojo Yamamoto? Well, Tojo Yamamoto, I'm going to give a little brief history of who Tojo Yamamoto was. He was born Harold, is that Wantabe? In 1927 in Hawaii to a Japanese father and Hawaiian mother. He served in the United States Marine Corps and was a judo instructor. He began wrestling in the late 1950s as P.Y. Chung throughout the Northeast and in the Carolinas. However, the Hawaiian native combined the names of former Prime Minister of Japan, Hideki Tojo, and former Japanese Marshal Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto. I believe that's how you say his name. Two names synonymous with the bombing of Pearl Harbor to greet the moniker Tojo Yamamoto. He was not the first grappler to adopt the guise of a hated Japanese heel, but Yamamoto was one of the most long-lasting, playing his part to the hilt decades after the United States and Japan became allies. He homesteaded in Tennessee with some exceptions, such as Astenis T.Y. Chung in West Texas in late 1967 and in early 1968. Yamamoto became a household name in Tennessee while working for NWA Mid-America head promoters by Nick Gulas and Roy Welch. He was quite the heat seeker in the South and could generate riots. Yamamoto's first known title was the Florida version of the NWA United States Tag Team Championship, which he won with Tara Mayaka. I believe that's how you would say that, on November 16th, 1961 in Jacksonville, Florida. Throughout the 1960s and the 1970s, Yamamoto held the NWA Mid-America World Tag Team title and Southern Tag Team Championships with many individuals, including Alex Perez, Professor Ito, Johnny Long, Jerry Lawler, and Zipchi Joe, just to name a few. Yamamoto wrestled until 1986. After that, after the Tennessee and Dallas wrestling promotions combined, he managed several wrestlers throughout the remainder of the decade in the early 1990s, including Phil Hickerson, who was billed as P.Y. Chung Hai. As homage to Wanabe's early wrestling names, the duo even led to a sneak attack on Gentleman Chris Adams' wife in a feud. A young Steve Austin also crossed paths with Yamamoto around this time. In his autobiography, Stone Cold Truth, the Texas Rattlesnake described a conversation he had with Yamamoto at the Dallas Sportatorium. He said, "You have to know how to sell." Then he told me to grab his ear. I grabbed his ear, and he went crazy with pain and sank to the floor. I thought I had really hurt him. Then he looked up at me and smiled. You get it? Tojo, a true pioneer in professional wrestling, deserves a spot as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. What do y'all think? Tojo Yamamoto, Rodney?
Yes, absolutely. And if you haven't had a chance to see Tojo, you've really missed it. He was awesome. He was awesome. And if you watch Bobby Eaton in some of his wrestling, he does a lot of Tojo Yamamoto, especially where he's sneaking up and scratching him in the back. Love that.
Jack, Tojo Yamamoto.
It was a rite of passage to be beaten nearly half to death with a kendo stick yielded by Tojo Yamamoto. I love Tojo. And except for that first time, he never hurt me again.
Tojo was the thing about it is people thought he was a small man, and they thought, oh, I could take Tojo. But there wasn't many people that could take Tojo Yamamoto. He was a true hard wrestler, and he could handle himself. But Tojo, number 93, for those of you who do not know who Tojo Yamamoto is, just do a search on YouTube, go Tojo Yamamoto, and you'll see all kinds of stuff come up with. He is famous for the wooden shoe.
Yes, yes. And I would highly recommend Phil Hickerson, Dennis Condrey against Tommy Rich, Tojo Yamamoto from Boutwell Auditorium, Birmingham. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. It shows Tojo in all of his glory, for no doubt.
Tojo Yamamoto and his famous wooden shoe. He was going against the Wrestling Bear. And they told him, so now listen, dear, whatever you do, don't hit the bear with your shoe. Probably should not tell Tojo that, because he hit the bear with his shoe. That made the bear very, very mad. They said, the bear is playing with you, but if you get rough with it, it's going to get rough back with you. And it certainly got rough back with him. He ruled the day that he hit the bear with, because at that point, the trainer, which I believe was Nick Adams, I'm pretty sure that that's who it was, just let the bear loose on Tojo. And old Tojo had his better days. You're not going to beat a bear. It's not going to happen. All right, Jack, number 93 on your list.
Don the Rock Morocco.
Yes, tremendous wrestler. When he came to Georgia, I always thought, especially when he first came in there and they did the turn on Roddy Piper. I guess that had been the second time he came to Georgia, because he wasn't in Georgia for very long the first time, I don't think. But the second time he stayed maybe 3 or 4 weeks. I think he was actually working for Crockett at the time, but tremendous stuff he did with Gordon Soley and with Roddy Piper. Rodney?
He was Mr. X, was he not? Did he come into Georgia as like Mr. X or Dr. X or one of those at first time around?
I think he did.
And then they took the mask off him. That's what I was thinking. It was, Morocco, awesome. The magnificent Morocco from WWE. And actually, I think a very good Intercontinental champion. Excellent.
Could wrestle. Man, the man could wrestle.
And he could talk. No doubt about that.
Yeah, he had a great personality. All right, Rodney, number 93.
My number 93 is Johnny Mantell. Johnny Mantell, awesome wrestler. There was nothing this man could not do. All you have to do is watch Mid-South Wrestling in 1984. He was awesome. Really, really good. And it doesn't matter who you put him in the ring with, whether it was Buddy Landell, which I think they could have pushed that all the way to main event. Johnny was just awesome. Really was.
Your thoughts on Johnny Mantell, Jack?
Hey, I love Johnny, and Johnny's on my list. I loved watching him. When we were reviewing the Mid-South shows, I had seen him, but the more I saw of him when we were reviewing those shows, the more that I liked him. I'd saw a lot of his Texas stuff, but I never really saw the Mid-South stuff till then. Just great guy too. As to anybody that doesn't know, he's over the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame also.
Johnny Mantell, probably a lot of wrestling fans don't know who he is. Again, you can go watch Mid-South Wrestling. Go see how good he was. He was fluent in everything he did. Everything he did looked good. It looked believable. And that's what makes a great wrestler. Can you make it look believable? Yep. And Johnny Mantell was able to do that, no doubt. And so how do you get to the? Is there a website for the Hall of Fame?
Give me a second. I'll look it up. There is, but I can't remember what.
Because it's a great organization, and I believe you can donate to that. He's the only person who actually has a real Hall of Fame. It's actually for all wrestlers, referees, and so get over there and say it. Okay, Rodney, let's go while he's looking at that. Joel Bateman is with us. How you doing, Joe? Stuart Kemp. Hello, Stuart. Jason Mundy is with us as well. Johnny Krieger, I guess that's how you would say his name. Hello, everyone. Glenn Allen Shelton is with us. Richard Hood is also with us. Jack, did you find it?
I did. It's PWHF, Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, .org, AORG.
Okay, get to that and kind of see what's going on with the Hall of Fame. I think you'll enjoy it. Also, for those of you that are interested, next Monday or Tuesday, we're going to tell you how you can get a DVD of the Brian Pillman Memorial Show that
Right.
Les Thatcher was a part of, and we are going to give you all that information. We'll also this week give you that information, how you can get to that as well. I think that's the only wrestling organization or a show that had WWF and WCW guys on it.
Yep.
And we'll tell you how you can get it and how you can purchase it. Very interesting show. And so we'll tell you how you can get to that next week. Les Thatcher, by the way, for those of you who've not seen the interviews with Les Thatcher, I think we were on part 2 or 3 right now on YouTube. It will drop on Friday, and is actually people wanted it to be put on at 7 a.m. instead of 7:30. They wanted to have some time to watch it at work while they were supposed to be working. They wanted to be able to, I guess they were listening to it. But Les Thatcher, it's about a 5 or 6 interview series. It was like 3.5 hours, and he tells a lot of great stuff. So if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, get over there and subscribe to it, because it'll tell you when those are ready for you to view. Richard Hood said he was here. I don't know if I said that. Howdy, y'all. My number 93 is Tom Pritchard. There you go, Mickey.
Yep.
Tom Pritchard will be very upset with you. You put that T in his name. He always would get mad about that. The whole time that he's wrestled, they put a T in his name. And he'd have to tell people, I don't have a T in my name. You get upset about that. You're a little sensitive about that. Johnny Walker was big in Hawaii. Yes, he was. And, a lot of people probably don't realize this, but Johnny Walker was huge. Johnny Walker, not wrestling too, but Johnny Walker had a great feud with Buddy Colt. And before he became wrestling too in Hawaii, Buddy Colt broke his shoulder once, then broke his arm. And they have a series of matches where wrestling too, as Johnny Walker, not wrestling too, but Johnny Walker tries to break his arm in matches, and the people go nuts over it. So, he had a little bit of success in Florida as Johnny Walker as well. Savon Seal. Hello, fellows. Well, hello, Savon. Good to have you on here. Michael Barr, Greg the Hammer Valentine. Jack?
Oh, I always liked Greg. I don't really know what was missing with Greg to make him a top 10 guy. He was, maybe his interview skills were a little lacking at times, but you talk about solid in the ring. I mean, he was just a smash mouth wrestler. I mean, he could wrestle, but he could fight. I thought he was great.
I never liked his time in WWF. Not the first time. I thought it was great the first time. But when he came back and they did the rhythm and blues and all that stuff with him, that just was not his cup of tea.
They misused so many of the older guys at that time. So
yeah. Rodney, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh, Valentine was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Another one that had his robes made by Olivia Walker. She was just tremendous, and he was awesome. And I just got through. I'm going through, for whatever reason, my YouTube has put up the early 70s of WWF, WWF, 3 W's and an F, whatever. And I'm watching all those Madison Square Garden. Just saw a match with Greg Valentine and Pedro Morales, and I believe, when I'm watching this, I believe Pedro Morales was over more than Bruno Sammartino, if you can imagine that. The crowd's response was just awesome. And he and Valentine had an awesome match. Just great. Just great.
Michael Barr is with us. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. James William Lawrence III. By the way, how did the first referee stuff? Let us know how it went. I think that might have been last week sometime, maybe 2 weeks ago. But let us know how the referee and gig went. We'd like to know.
I truly believe if Ric Flair was not working for Jim Crockett, I believe Greg Valentine would have been world champion. I really do. The Crockett's loved Valentine.
And remember, Johnny Valentine was their major star when the plane crash happened. And by the way, if you did not watch that video, it will come up for you to be able to click on it on Facebook, or you can find it on YouTube. Very interesting story that we did on the plane crash of 1975 with Ric Flair on that. So it'll be coming up on the YouTube channel. Daniel Lang, number 93, with a keg of beer on his shoulder and a cigar in his mouth. The three-time AWA World Heavyweight Champion, the man who made Milwaukee famous.
Yeah, I love the Crusher. What's he call them? He called them bums. He called them bums, didn't he? We're gonna get in there. We're gonna take those bums. I love that.
Come on, you bums!
And he and the Bruiser exchanging blows during the interviews. Yep. That was too much. I loved
it. Did they take the character from Rocky that Burgess Meredith played? Did they kind of pattern that after?
I have heard that, and I believe that.
Because he did the character almost like the Crusher was. And the Crusher was way before that movie ever.
Oh, yeah, long before.
I'm just wondering if that's where they got it from, because he called people bums. And in the way he talked in it was just like the Crusher.
Yep.
So
there's a lot of characters in movies and TV shows that I think was patterned after the Crusher. I mean, a lot. I mean, the Bugs Bunny against the Crusher was actually the Crusher. That was him.
The statue that they have built for him is on my bucket list of hopefully one day get the picture made with.
Is that in? I'm guessing that is
Milwaukee. Yep.
That, and while you're there, you might as well just go ahead and get Laverne and Shirley. I'm pretty sure there's a there for them. So, wasn't that where they were from?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Oh, we've already did that one. Number 93 for Kevin Penley is Brent's fave wrestler and Lynn Rossi tag team partner, Bearcat Brown. Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, Bearcat Brown did not make my top 100, even though he was one of my favorite wrestlers. He never made my top 100, but he was my first, and then Wrestling 2 came after that. So, but Bearcat Brown. Jack, Bearcat Brown.
I thought he was great. I was a huge fan of his, when I was a kid growing up. I thought he made a big cultural difference with the presence that he made in the business. I love him. He didn't make my list for, other various reasons, but he certainly deserves to be in the top 100.
Yeah. Rodney?
Yeah, Bearcat Brown. I agree, Kevin. He's on the list. That's good.
What many people probably would not know, but Bearcat Brown, Lynn Rossi, sold Birmingham, Alabama, Boutwell Auditorium for like 12 weeks in a row in the main event together against different opponents. Saul Wangroffs, Von Bronners, the Spoilers, and a bunch of other people, but sold out for like 12 weeks in a row. Joel Bateman, the assassin, Jody Hamilton, number 93. Yes, I believe that on my list, I believe Jody Hamilton's way, way down on the list. Jody was so good at what he did. He didn't have to do much, but what he did always made an impact. How about you, Rodney?
Yes, Jody, a tremendous booming voice. Like you said, and you believe anything he said, you absolutely believed it. I mean, he was very credible, and drew just about, I believe, everywhere he went, big time. I just went through the Georgia Tag Team Champions, the Assassins. I believe held the Georgia Tag Team Championship more than any other team or any incarnation of teams ever. And Jody Hamilton, part of that, true great legacy.
Jack?
Well, as we know, our friend of the show, Nick Patrick, is Jody's son, and he has started Deep South Wrestling back up, which was Jody's baby back in the day. And Jody is actually doing commentary on the newest episode that they're working.
Wow.
So I'm, if for nothing else, I'm looking forward to hearing him do that.
And by the way, it's deepsouthwrestling.com for anyone who would like to get there and watch Deep South Wrestling and watch their program. I think they're is this their third episode coming up?
I believe it is their third episode. But, to the original question, Jody Hamilton was one of the greats. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt that he if he's not in your top 100, I got to question your ability to understand pro wrestling.
Richard said he always liked Phil Hickerson. Yes, Phil was
great.
Very good. If you didn't get to see Phil Hickerson and Dennis Condrey as a tag team, the Bicentennial Kings, I believe is what they called themselves. Very, very good guys.
Phil Hickerson was actually calling himself at one time the American Dream. He sure was. When he was working for Nick Doulis and Chattanooga, him and Condrey were the champions. And, of course, Phil Hickerson had already beat up all the Fargos. And he was going around, and he had the red, white, and blue outfit on, and he was the American Dream, Phil Hickerson.
Michael Barr said we're freezing up a little bit. This is probably a lot of people on the internet, and it's unfortunately there's not much we can do about it. It's just a part of the being on live on the internet. Wasn't one blinded Jerry Jarrett? I would say Tojo blinded a lot of people with his salt that he used to throw on people's lives. There's no doubt about that. He used to throw a lot of salt.
That one show where they threw Jeff Jarrett threw yellow paint on Tojo, and then he proceeded to wipe the floor of everybody on the show. It's worth watching. I'll just tell you right now, watching them hang Jeff Jarrett out of the ring and Tojo just taking this.
Awesome. Tojo was responsible for my first high spot. I was 3 years old in my granddaddy's lap, and Tojo did something on TV, and he jumped up and shot me across the floor.
And some of the greatest television is watching Harry Thornton and Tojo argue. That was classic TV. It was.
Paul said, sorry that I missed last night's show. Very good show, by the way. If Chris Whaley, the Masked Saint, was with us. If you didn't catch it, you can catch it back on the replay on YouTube. YouTube's it's much easier to find on YouTube than it is on Facebook. So I would just go over there and look for it. They have opened up here youth baseball. It started, and he said his nominee is Giant Baba.
Yes.
I would give that. I didn't. Very little Japanese wrestlers made my top 100. I'm not for sure. I can't remember, but I don't know if any of them did. Just because that I didn't really watch Japanese wrestling that often. Jack, what about you?
Oh, I definitely agree that Giant Baba belongs. He didn't make my list. Same reason. The majority of people on my list are ones that I knew, or ones that I watched, or ones that I have researched. And I have great respect for Japanese wrestling, but I didn't become a Japanese wrestling fan for the last few years. So the ones that are on my list are the ones that I actually encountered over the course of my life.
Now, I would ask Rodney if Giant Baba was on his list, but we know.
Well, I just want to say I'll just have to turn you over to Gary Hart and his observations about people of Georgia.
Phil Everson is top 100.
And I've seen that, and that's awesome stuff. Gary Hart, Kabuki, and Roddy Piper, just classic. Great stuff.
Yes. Victor Nash, hello everyone. I hope all is well. My number 93 is a man that began his career on May 10th, and 32 years later retired on May 10th and was the first man to retire the AWA World Title, Mr. Vern Gagne. Yeah, I call him Gagne again. Vern Gagne. Yeah, I agree. I'm thinking Vern did make my list. I think he's way lower on my list because you cannot take away what Vern Gagne meant to professional wrestling. No matter if you believe that he was the owner and he gave himself the title, because I don't believe if he didn't draw money, he would have took the title off of him, because it was all about making money. And when he thought he couldn't draw money no more, he did put the title on other people, and Nick Bockwinkel was the greatest champion of all time. I'll have to put him way up there. All right, Jack, how about Vern Gagne?
Oh, I liked Vern, especially when the match was over. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I thought, Vern is in my top 100. He's much farther down on the list. I think towards the end, I have to separate the wrestler from the promoter, because as a wrestler, I thought he was fantastic. I do. I think as a promoter, he so refused to change with times, and I have differences with him on that aspect. But as far as a professional wrestler, Vern Gagne belongs in the top 100.
Yes. Rodney?
Yes, absolutely does. I'm not saying that he's on my list, but I'm saying yes, he should be on there.
Number 93, Killer Tim Brooks. I think we've talked about him before, and I agree with that. He was good. I saw Tojo. Now, would Killer Tim Brooks make my top 100? No. But I can see why people in Texas would, because he was pushed really heavily in Texas. I saw Tojo versus the Sheik.
Oh, my God. We must know. Did the Sheik throw fire, or did Tojo use this wooden shoe? Which one? What happened? Tell us, Kevin. We got to know, Kevin. What happened?
Don Morocco, higher on my list. Great promos at Joel Bateman. Morocco was Mr. Florida, Mr. M in Florida. Mr. M, I guess that
makes Morocco sense. Maybe he was Mr. No, he was Dr. X. It seemed like he was Dr. X in Georgia. He first came in and then he took the mask off.
Daniel Lang said, Morocco, tremendous actor. Fuji Vice, Fuji Hospital, or Fuji Chain. You can't go wrong. Woo, that wasn't good. That was not good. Let's see. Glenn Allen Shelton thought Johnny in world class.
Yes.
Oh, Johnny Mantel.
Yeah, he was there too.
KD is with us on our YouTube channel. Hi, guys. Hello to you. Glenn Allen Shelton. Further down for me, him and Piper, a chain match. Yes, Valentine and Piper had people think that's anticlimactic, but man, the beating both them guys took was incredible. Good evening, Michael. Even Rodney didn't get his name right yesterday, I noticed.
Rollerson.
I was just trying to keep up the trend.
Just spilled it to me. I'll handle it.
Love the feud between Flair and Valentine versus Ole and Gene Anderson for Mickey Mayfield. Crusher, higher on my list, is what Joel Bateman had to say. Glenn Allen Shelton said Popeye.
It's Popeye.
Now, they did call Don Fargo sometimes Popeye a professional. Fonzie. Hey. I think that was really bad. Hey.
Hey.
That was Don Morocco's acting. I wanted to keep.
Which, by the way, Don Morocco was Dr. X.
Dr. X, okay.
Crusher, beat them bums and get a couple of dollars and go to the saloon, drink some beer and dance the polka.
That's right. That's awesome.
He was a great character. There's no doubt about it. Just tremendous. Charles Alford said, hello, gentlemen. Abe Jacobs, Kiwi Row. Abe Jacobs was really good. He really was. And even as he was older, he was good. He just had that ability. Can you imagine seeing him back in the 60s? How good he had to be. He was so good. Victor Nash said that the NXT's Great American Bash tonight on the USA Network at 8 p.m. They're having the Great American Bash. They're doing that live, free on television.
Tonight, yep. Yeah, they downgraded it to nothing but a TV extra special episode a few years back. I say downgraded. I mean, it's pretty good. I like the way they pull it off, but still, it's not a.
Was that because it was a WCW deal?
Yes.
So they just thought they just downgrade everything.
Yeah, I think that is a dig at Cody Rhodes because Cody wanted that name and he tried to get it, and then they were able to get the trademark back for it.
Michael asked, wasn't Baba a 3 times NWA World Champion? Yes, I believe he was. Many times. I don't. They only did that because he was part of the NWA. He owned the territory. You know, he wanted to know that he was a World Heavyweight Champion. So, Rita Cantrell is watching us. Thank you so much, Rita. Rick Brooks is with us. The only time I recall the fans pulling for the Hells Angels was against a Japanese team. I could see that. Yes. Joe Bateman said Vern Gagne is in his top 40. Mickey Mayfield, I like Vern better than his son Greg.
Hey, there's a long list of
what you believe there, Mickey. You know, I do believe I like Vern better. I like Greg as well. We used to call him Greg Goulas, by the way. Oh,
yes, we sure did. I don't think we did. Who I think it was Steve-O. We made upset. We called him somebody. I called Brent, you're nothing but an AWA TV champion or something to that degree. It made him mad. I don't know what you're talking about.
And I think after that was, well, you'll really get mad when we call Greg Gagne Greg Goulas. You'll really get upset. I don't guess he told him. Sale, my daddy said. I don't guess he did that, but
Steve probably didn't know who Goulas was.
He might not have. No, he might not have. Victor Nash, I only known him from YouTube, never seen him wrestle in person. I guess he never came to Miami. I'm not for sure who he's talking about, but Vern Gagne, that is. He never saw Vern Gagne wrestle. He wasn't exciting, by the way. I mean, he wasn't. He wasn't going to get excited about him, and his sometimes his finishes were very flat. They were very flat, but he did know what he was doing, though, and he could have stretched anybody in the dressing room. So, even as he got older, he could have. Greg stayed mostly in his daddy's area, and I don't think nobody else wanted him. I hate to just be that blunt about it. I just don't think they did. I think they viewed him like they viewed George Goulas. I mean, it's, unfortunately, and they were great wrestlers. Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne was great as a tag.
You wanted to call him Greg Goulas as sure as I'm sitting here.
I did, but I did. I thought he was a great wrestler. I'm not, I think he was better. I mean, he was a whole lot better than George was, but him and Brunzell together, great tag team, had great matches with a ton of people, and Greg was over in AWA. If you go back and watch tapes, he was over. He was over, or Brunzell was over for the both of them. But they
as much pull as Vern had, he probably didn't want Greg to go out anywhere else.
Yeah,
and some people didn't. They just thought, I can make as much money being here than I do out on the road. So,
Shannon Kathleen Moore, good evening, gentlemen. And when we find some, we'll tell them good evening. Rick Brooks. My brother was named after Vern Gagne and Lou Thez. I got stuck with Ricky Start and Gene Stanley.
Now, I like Ricky Start. I wonder if you can
Nightmare Ted Allen, Jonathan Ward, Nightmare Ted Allen. I will agree with that. Ted Allen, I'm telling you, this man was tremendous in the ring. He did not make my top 100, but I'm telling you, Ted Allen was so smooth. You could tell Ted said, "Ted, I don't really know, man. Right now, I'm having problems in the front. I don't know. Y'all just go 15 minutes and figure out what you want to do." At the end of that, you can go over, or I think it was him and Scott wrestling. You can go over, Scott can go over. I don't care. You just do whatever you want to do. And they would go out there and have a match and just figure it out how the people were playing it. And Scott said, "Well, hey, if the people ain't with me, I'll just get beat." He said, "Because they don't care. They don't care if I win. So if they don't get behind me when I'm selling and coming back," he said, "I'm just going to tell them to beat me." I said, "Okay." But Ted was so good. Rodney, Ted Allen.
Yeah, Ted Allen was awesome. And that's another one that there's not much explanation has to be done. You just Okay, Ted, go. And that's all you need. And it's always a great match. I don't ever think I've ever seen Ted in a bad match.
No. Jack, Ted Allen.
I love Ted. Ted was the first promoter to book me out of state. And I had a lot of history with Ted. I had some great matches with Ted. I never had a bad experience with Ted. I mean, just flat out, I would make some really long road trips and would come through Cartersville because that was just the route that I would go going home. And it might be 3 o'clock in the morning when I got there, but I had standing orders to call him whenever I got to Cartersville, didn't matter what time, and we'd meet at the Waffle House and we would eat and we would talk, and then he'd go back home, go back to bed, and I'd go on home.
True wrestling fan, by the way, as well.
Love Ted. Love Ted.
Ted Allen came and spent a whole day with me one time and looked through all the programs and photographs I had, and that was before they all got wet. It would took you all day to look through all of them at that time. Mickey Mayfield, Morocco, as Dr. X is in those programs I sent you guys. Oh, he was in those. Oh, we'll have to go back and look at that. Yeah, I do remember those. It's him as Dr. X. That's true. I'll have to look that up here in a minute. Wait, I think I missed his, didn't I? Aaron said maybe they can use Great American Clash. Hey, that's the Nick Goulis way of doing things.
Headline by Mr. Wrestling 436.
That's right.
Glenn Allen. Was used when the Unified AWA and World Class Championship Wrestling. Charles said Greg Gagne and Jim Brunzell were in Georgia in 1976. Did they get over there, Charles? I don't remember them being there. I know I was there. But I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. But I don't remember them. I remember Jim Brunzell being there. I just don't remember Greg Gagne. Wesley Strickland. Hello, good evening, guys. Hello to you. Michael Barr, Ricky Gibson is at the top of my list.
I think that Greg would have been a great addition to anybody's crew. I really do. He was good. He was really good.
So that's Don Morocco?
No, not that one.
Mm-mm.
No, he was wearing kind of a Super Destroyer mask that I remember.
Because this Dr. X, that's Dick Breyer, right? That's the Destroyer, correct?
I believe so.
I mean, I could be wrong about that, but that's who I'm believing that is. 99, number 93, Dr. Big Bill Miller. I'm not for sure I'm familiar with.
He was a big name back in the day.
Rodney, do you know?
No, I'm afraid he's got me on that one.
Let's see. Joel Bateman, Kurt Hennig is number 1 on my list, and Kurt Hennig was very good. He took some crazy bumps sometimes that cost him maybe his wrestling career too early. Man, he'd take bumps on his neck when he would take these bumps, and I always thought, man, just calm that down a little bit. you're gonna get to where you can't even wrestle if you keep on doing that. Rodney, why were
Michael Barr said that Ricky Gibson was on the top of his list.
Yeah, did I not throw that in up?
I don't believe I remember that if I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that. Ricky Gibson, top of his list, Michael Barr. Rodney, while we're at it, let's go ahead and let's talk about Friday, October 8th, 2021. We are going to be in Lafayette, Georgia at the Rec Center, and we're going to have a tournament, the first rounds of the tournament, and Rodney's got the belt that will be available to the winner of this, which will be sometime in January. And Rodney, if you'll show that belt to people, we had this made, and there you see it right there. And that will go to the winner.
There we go.
Let me go. Let me zoom me in, cameraman. Zoom me in. and that will actually go to the winner. But that will happen on Friday, October 8th. We'll have a tournament to have a champion for that, and that will for those of you who cannot make it to. I think Rodney's going to win. I believe he's going to win. If you go with most promoters, that's who wins. So
there is the reason that everybody calls me the world champion. And that's because every kind place you go to, if a lot of those people can be world champion, so can I.
Rodney Goulas.
Hey. Hey, I put the graphic up where there it is.
There we go.
Let's see.
But folks, we will tell you more about it. But I will tell you that for those of you who live way away and can't get it, we will be available for folks to watch. So we don't know that it's going to be live, but we will have video. It will be available on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where it's going to be.
And Michael Barr, he says, I'm in training. He's going to Georgia to win that belt.
There you go. Michael Barr, going to be the championship wrestling champion that night. Plus, blindfold battle royal on the card. If you've never seen a blindfold battle royal,
ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be amazing because it's part of our big extravaganza, Halloween, pre-Halloween extravaganza, and it will be the first time that the actual audience will be blindfolded. Something brand new. I think everybody will love it.
Dutch Mantel always used to say we should let them in free and make them pay to get out.
Yeah.
Randy Savage, very high on his list. Yes, I will agree. Randy Savage, tremendous wrestler.
Hold on, let me make sure he made my list. I don't know if he may or may not. Hold on.
Of course, I meant star. It's autocorrect's fault. Yes. This Saturday night at Arab, Alabama, at the Rec Center. Bell time, I think 7 p.m. Right, Jack?
7 p.m. bell time.
If you're in the Alabama area, make sure you drive to Arab this Saturday. Arab, Alabama, Arab Recreation Center. Russell South returns and big time card there this week. And so make sure you get there as well. Anything you want to tell the people about the show for this Saturday?
I got a lot of matches this time. Usually we try to, limit how many matches we have so that the matches actually have a little bit of length to them. But we had some great talent that became available, so we've put them on. And got a lot of new guys coming in. It's going to be a big night. And we're rounding up. I just got a message before we came on that our championship belts came in from the same belt maker, as a matter of fact, came in today. So we're going to be displaying those. And then in August 14th, we're doing a one-night tournament for the heavyweight championship. And also on August 14th, we're also going to be doing a special celebration for Bobby Eaton's birthday. That's his actual birthday. So we're going to be having a big thing, pre-show for him. We got a lot of things coming up. So, follow us on Facebook, www.wrestlesouth.com for any other kind of information. Come see us.
All right. David Arquette called. He wants Rodney in that new belt. Daniel Lane. What does Uncle Elmer fit in your list? I'm sorry, but Uncle Elmer is not going to make my list.
He was too big for that list.
Too big.
Yes, I'm not giving Uncle Elmer the list. And not, hey, listen, I loved his stuff in Memphis, but his run in Georgia just killed him from being in any list of mine. I liked him. Great guy, by the way. Tremendous man. Just a tremendous man. But he's not going to make my list. Is he? Rodney, I think I'm pretty sure Giant Frazier did not make your list.
Like I said, he's too big for my list.
Jack, Giant Frazier, my Uncle Elmer.
No.
Sounds great, Jack, by the way. He's talking about Arab, Alabama for this Saturday and the other things coming up on August the 14th, correct? Would like to see most come down this way, Jack, if possible.
I am actually working on that.
There you go. So you may be seeing it soon. We are going to, I think we actually, for the first time, ever got through the whole comments on our show, which we haven't been able to do in a long time. We want to tell everybody about being a supporter. And, Jack, I'll let you take over and let the people know how to become a supporter.
Well, I don't have the new update, but just, click on our Facebook page, go right there to the top of the page, be a supporter. It's a big button, goes right across the top. $2.99 a month. You get all kinds of behind the scenes stuff that's going on. For the insiders that are already supporters, you know that you guys found out about our first live event weeks before anybody else did. Plus, you also get to sit in when we pre-tape some of the other segments that we have that are shown just on the YouTube channel. So there's a lot of great stuff that goes on. $2.99 a month helps pay for our upkeep, the general bills, new microphones, all that kind of good stuff.
And also we enjoy doing this each and every week for wrestling fans, and we do it for ourselves as well because we like to relive the memories of pro wrestling. And also you can go get shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/pro wrestling inside and out. You got Jack the Bomber Lord, and we are going to work on some new shirts in the next few weeks, and we'll get with everybody. Rodney, anything that you would like to tell everybody before we leave tonight?
David Arquette just wished he could take this on. Just tell you right now.
On that note, we'll see everybody next week, next Monday. Jack, we have a special guest, I believe, next Monday night as well. Am I correct about that?
Well, I've scheduled so much, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the great Jerry Oates is coming back with us.
All right.
Jerry Oates will return Monday night. Rodney and Jack will be interviewing him, and we will. Jerry Oates will return.
And this was the whole conversation. Brent messaged me and said, "You think Jerry Oates would come back?" And I said, "Well, let me message him and see." So I turned right around, I messaged him, and I barely got the send button clicked, and Jerry said, "Oh, I'd love to come back."
Good deal. We're looking forward to it. Jerry Oates, one of the greats. No doubt, one of the greats in professional wrestling. Thank everybody, and we'll see everybody next week. And for the insiders, come and look at some programs with us. We're going to look at some programs I think you'll all enjoy. We'll see everyone next week right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. Thank you so much. And next week we'll have more fun. And on behalf of Jack Lord, Rodney West, I'm Brent West. See you next week.